Hi friends, welcome back. In today's video, we will learn about auto-wired annotations. In the previous video, we learned about how to do auto-wiring using XMLs. In today's video, we will move further ahead and we will learn how to do auto-wiring using auto-wired annotation. So let's move ahead. This is my mybeans.xml from my previous example. If you have not gone through the previous examples, please go and watch the previous examples because to learn this video, you need to watch those. So assuming that you already have watched those, let's go ahead. Here I have office.java, I have staff.java, I have college.java, and then I have one XML file where I have done auto wiring using constructors, and again you can do auto wiring using setter method also, like by name and by type. So let's move ahead with this example itself. I already have here autowire is equal to constructor, and here you can see I have office.java, and in office.java I have constructor with just one parameter staff, and then here I have staff with manage files in staff, just one method, and in college.java I have my main method. So when I run this, I'm getting please manage the required files as expected. Now in this video we are going to learn about annotations. So when we are going to annotations, we do not need this particular configuration here, right? We will remove this. Okay, so now since we have removed this, we need to have some way in which Spring will know how to do auto wiring, how to inject the dependencies. Here in office.java you see that I have one dependency of staff class. I have a reference of staff, and office.java is dependent on staff.java. So here I have the constructor. If I use a simple annotation auto wired here, then I will be able to achieve this. So I have removed configuration from here, I have removed auto wired configuration from here, and then here I have put that annotation of auto wiring. Now just one more change you need to make, and that is to enable the auto wiring configurations, you need to make small changes. You need to go to Spring Framework documentation and go to core. Here in core you can just look for context. This will move you to the annotation based auto wiring configurations. See here, this is annotation based container configuration. So here you will just get this XSD and just take this and copy it and go back to your Eclipse here in my AutoBeans, and then you can just change this XSD configuration over here. Okay, so now you can see I have beans also the way it was before, and then I have context also. So once you have added this new XSD, you can make changes in your context. So here you can see I have this annotation configuration already added over here, and here I have already added auto wired, right? So now let's go ahead and check if this runs properly. So you get the output, right? Please manage the required files. So this is how you are able to inject staff dependency into your office class, right? Now let's move onwards to the setter dependency injection. So this is a constructor. Let me remove this and I will add a setter here. Setter, I just need one. Okay, setter, and this auto wire I will put above setters. Okay, save the file. Now autowired annotation is above your setter, and the class is staff, and variable is or reference is staff, and here I have the same name as my reference here, right? This name and this name is matching. Now let's run this and check. You are getting the result as well. So now we have put autowire annotation above your setters, and same thing is happening. What if I have two different beans of the staff? First reference is staff 1 suppose, and second one is staff 2. Now the class name is same, staff and staff, but the bean IDs are different. First one is staff 1, second one is staff 2. Now if we run this program, how will Spring recognize that which staff reference it has to pick for your office class? Let's run this and see. As expected, it's giving you no unique bean definition exception. What does it mean? That when Spring is trying to do the dependency injection, it's not able to find one unique bean which it can pick from your my XMLs, and you can put, and the Spring can put it into your office dependency, right? It's not able to find just one. Spring is getting confused now. So here there comes another annotation, and that is qualifier. So when you are using qualifier annotations, it's removing the ambiguity. So when you have more than two different IDs, here like staff 1 and staff 2 of the same class, then Spring is getting confused because there are two different references of the same class. So here ambiguity is occurring. So when you are using qualifier, it is letting Spring know which bean ID is able to qualify for getting picked up. So if I'm using staff 2, I'll copy this and I will put it here inside my double quotes. Now if I run this, then Spring will know that staff 2 is the bean ID which it needs to pick. So let's try this. So you are not getting any exceptions here. So it's all thanks to qualifier, because qualifier is removing the ambiguity and it's letting us know, or letting Spring know, which bean ID it needs to pick. In our previous video, we learned that there are three ways in which autowiring is done in XMLs. Number one is by type, then by name, and then by constructor. Spring always goes for by type first, and if it is not able to find the dependency injection using by type, then it will go for by name when we are doing setter injection. So here we are doing setter injection, right? And then we have two different IDs. Just now we saw staff 1 and staff 2 for your class staff. So that is why we had to use qualifiers here, because the ambiguity is happening here. In this case, Spring does not know which ID to pick. So let's analyze this in the context that I said just now. So I just said that Spring goes for by type first. So let's see how Spring will work here. So now when you have in this scenario two different IDs for the same class staff, Spring is going for first type by type. So Spring goes to the XML and it looks for type staff and staff, but Spring is giving you error because there are two IDs. Then Spring will go for the second one by name, and by name it will be able to find staff 2 because you have used qualifier here and you are letting Spring know that by name should be used and staff 2 is the name that you have to pick, right? So this is how internally it's working. So this is all about qualifier and annotations. I hope you have understood it. If you have not understood, please rewind and watch this video again so that you can understand. You can understand if you watch it again. It happens with me. It might happen with you as well. The last thing that we need to cover in this particular video is what happens if you use Autowire annotation just above your dependency, like this. Autowire, you can just remove this and try to run it. What happens now in this case? You are getting error because you have two, right? So let's just remove first one and then check it. Now check it. It's running, right? But it is not above your setter, it is above your variable. So let me remove this setter also and let's see now. It's again running. How come? Because Spring has made it even more simpler. If you are using Autowire annotation before your variable, then Spring lets you run it without using the setters. In this case, if you are using the Autowire annotation before your variable or before your reference, then you do not need to write the setters also. So simple, right? So this is all about Autowire annotation and qualifier annotation in this video. In our next videos, we will go over some more important annotations like component annotation, which you will be using several times in your coding. So stay tuned and watch for the next video. Take care.